Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial independence through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate portfolio, then let's get started.
Ladies, we did it. We made it through the holiday season. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I felt a ton of extra pressure this year, I feel like, on sales and deals and gift giving. And I feel that just marketing was out of control for material items this past holiday season here. And it's something that I just kind of want to think back on and just really kind of break down a little bit. So welcome to today's episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. Today, I really want to just evaluate a little bit something that I noticed over this past holiday season here, where I really felt like I was seeing a lot of this high pressure, short-term gratification in purchases starting to cost women that long-term security, freedom, and wealth that so many of you are desiring. So I kind of want to break this down a little bit here. So one thing that I've noticed is, let's be real here, women are marketed to more aggressively than anybody else. Right? We are usually decision makers within our own household. There are products that we've all heard of, that pink tax right now, that are specifically targeted towards us. We're usually the people that are purchasing things for other family members, kids included. And that is something that we are bombarded as women with. Buy this, not just for ourselves, buy this for our kids, buy this for our house, all of these different pressures. And I have to say, I felt that so much more in the 2025 holiday season. And I'm starting to hear from some of our members that really shifted their ability to invest in themselves, to invest in real estate, to invest in assets, because now they have these new shiny objects. Now, listen, we're now through the holiday season, so we can't go back. We spent the money where we spent the money. And that's okay. And I want to say, if you enjoyed your holiday season, great. I'm glad you did. But if you're saying now it's 2026, let's be intentional with where money's going, and this year I want to have look differently, then this is going to be the episode that you want to listen into. Because today we're going to start talking about how to make a little bit of that mental shift to say, here are the strategies of what I can do to still not feel like I'm depriving myself, not feel like I can't spend money, because that is not at all what life is about. But how can I also build in this intentionality to also go after the goals that I have and be able to do that and not have those setbacks? Because I heard women that were really saying that they felt like they are not in a position to be able to invest financially. We've been going through a very interesting economic climate over at least the past year, let's call it. More than that, really, with those constraints, and now adding on this marketing and this hype that we're seeing over this fall that we just got through, I think is something that we need to really kind of think about and be able to plan and strategize out of that. Part of where this kind of came from for me was even back over the fall, I felt like it was around Halloween that I, of course, have heard people saying, hey, that's not really where I want to spend money right now. I'm being a little bit more conscious. No, I'm not able to spend money on this. No, I'm not really kind of going out right now. But then there were a lot of reports that for Halloween, the increase on Halloween decor had increased more than like any other year before. And it was a huge, huge increase in people that were making sure to buy, huge skeletons to put in their yards or whatever it may be. Now, listen, celebrating Halloween, there's nothing wrong with. But if it's in a spot where that purchase is now taking away from what you would like to see in your life moving forward, that's a spot where we have to really be able to look at. I think that there's so much pressure that we have on us as women with family expectations, with the holiday guilt, with making sure that, we have enough presents under the tree or whatever it may be, or that we can still wear the perfect outfits to that event and get the pictures that we wanted. But all of those different things are really being pushed on us in a different way. And to be honest, I think a lot of that is also social media. I feel that way, even with just being a newer mom, that I feel like there were things that, well, you have to do the newborn photos and you have to get these clothes and you have to do these outfits and you have to have this crib. And really it's Those are not things that are needed, but they could be wants. They could be things that are going to make our life easier or things that we do want to have, and that's okay. But where is that balance where a short-term purchase gives us a moment of relief versus a long-term security that we are really craving? And it's not about discipline. It's not about budgeting. It's not about saying, oh, you have to eat ramen for the next year because that way that's the only way you're going to come up with a down payment. But to me, it's really about direction. It's about strategy. It's about prioritization. And that's really how I want us to be able to think about this as we kind of move forward with this topic. I was really able to kind of just add up some of the things that I was doing and spending money on over the holiday season, right? It was so easy just to say, okay, I'm going to run into Target. I just got to go pick up that one thing. And then anybody else ever leave Target and be like, how did I spend like $200? Right? Or there were certain points where, if the Amazon didn't come to my house in a day, I was confused. I was like, what do you mean the Amazon guy hasn't come? Or that I haven't opened the app, to see what was coming or placing an order for something else. It's way too convenient to now hit that button that just says like, ooh, add to your upcoming order. And then you don't even really have to do a checkout. You just know now it's coming with the other items. All those sales I felt like Black Friday this year was bigger than ever before. And I do feel that way because now you're seeing a lot more ads on Instagram, on Facebook, and there are so many more creators and influencers these days that everybody has a pitch, everybody has something that they can sell, and everybody was giving a discount. My email inbox was just absolutely flooded with just little ways to spend money on things. The home items, the decorations, the things that I needed to have in my house so that way I could take pictures of them to post on Instagram. I thought that was really interesting. I felt like there were a lot of things that I saw as like all these viral photo shoots or different viral things that I could do. And I want to do all those things with my daughter now. And I was like, ooh, that'd be such a great little thing. But now I need to buy her a little outfit a little snowman outfit. And now I need to buy the lights that I could take the picture with. And then I have to buy a little blanket so that I could put that for her. And then it was all of a sudden all these things that I needed to basically build myself like a photography studio to be able to have all these little trinkets, to be able to take the proper, most viral pictures, the most perfect pictures with her. I feel like I saw so many things that were also these once in a lifetime deals where I was like, well, if I'm going to upgrade this or if I need to purchase that, can I get it at a little bit of a cheaper price? Do I need to spend that money right now? Do I really need this thing? Well, but it's on sale, so kind of why not? Now, these things, I'm not saying that these things are wrong. We need these things in certain ways. They're either things that bring us joy or the memories that we want, or they're just actual items in our homes that we do need. But the difference to me is when it starts taking cash away from our future and instead just adding it to clutter within our homes, within our lives. And I think that's really the difference. What's interesting is when I talk to members in Lady Landlords, and that's one of my favorite things about what I get to do in my life, is I get to talk to Lady Landlords members all day long, between the Facebook group, between our inner circle group on Zoom, between the fact that, I think out of 55,000 members in Lady Landlords, I think probably about 30,000 of them actually have my phone number. I get to hear from women all the time. And really what I think is interesting is a lot of the language that I hear from them of what they're looking for is safety. They want stability. They want confidence. They want freedom. They want control. They want less worry about bills. They just kind of want to make sure that they feel stable and that they have that ability to leave a legacy to their kids. They want to build that wealth. And I have to say, that is not coming from an air fryer. That is not something that we're picking up with that new weighted blanket that we can order today off of Amazon. But really, financial security comes from the assets that we're able to pick up. I heard this great quote the other day that said, you cannot shop your way out of an uncertain economy. You can only invest your way out of it. And that's, I feel like, a situation that we're really in right now. Right now, the economy, even coming into 2026, people are still a little hesitant, right? We are still being very conscious with our money and where we're spending it. Inflation is still there affecting everyday expenses. We still are seeing cost of living rising faster than salaries. We see renting costs going up. We see that it's more difficult to rely on just a single income stream. And we're also seeing that most people do not have a sufficient emergency fund. But yet, where is it that we are putting our dollars? Where are we putting our money? Because to be honest, this path to stability is really coming through those extra income streams, not just relying on a 9 to 5, not just relying on that one job, but really starting to think, what can we do with side hustles? What can we do to bring in extra income? And usually that does not come from just having more items and more material things around us. Jobs, they take care of the bills, yes, but it's assets that really get you to freedom. For example, I worked in the 9 to 5 world for a long time. I did cancer research. That covered my bills, that allowed me to take a vacation. But that job was not going to get me to a place where I was able to retire at 40. It was real estate. It was the assets. It was that income coming in from those properties that allowed me to say, that's it, I'm retiring and I can do that. And I don't need the job to pay the bills anymore because now the assets are able to do that. So let's just talk about some basic things that you can do to move forward at this point in time and really just think a little bit differently about how we're spending our money. Okay. The most important question I always ask yourself is this going to matter next year? Is this a purchase that I am going to just enjoy for the time being and then it's going to go sit in a closet? Is this another exercise bike that I'm just going to hang my clothes on? Or is this something that really going to give me the joy that I'm looking for a long time or the memory that I want? Or is this something that's going to be going towards freedom? Is this something that's going to change my lifestyle? I did an episode at the end of 2025 where I talked about a little bit of a recap of my year, which I always do at the end of the year. And I really talked about one of the things that for me was most important was recognizing that some of the things that I had to say no to didn't make a difference in the end because I was able to have that the maternity leave that I had really wanted. And I was able to be in a spot where I could live off my rental income and be able to stay home with my daughter. And that was really what I valued. So really thinking about, does this fit into my long-term picture? And how does it fit is becoming more important. We can start being in a space where we say, hey, you know what? Just as much as I put money into my monthly spending account for things in my house or my free money that I can go out, that I can shop with, that I can go out to dinner with, whatever that looks like, why don't we also start a down payment fund? Why don't we also start an account that goes right from that direct deposit? That check from my job hits the account. And yep, my bills are paid, my rent is paid, my mortgage is paid, whatever it is. But then you know what? Some of that money goes directly towards how am I investing in myself? What is it that I need? Do I need that money to go towards getting a financial coach to help me with a better budget? Do I need that money to go towards a down payment? Do I need that money to go towards upgrades on a property so I could charge more in rent? Do I need that money to simply just go towards an emergency fund so I can even think about investing? So starting to make those shifts, even if you're just saying, hey, this is $50 a month or $100 a month, can actually speed up the timeline to get you to another rental property, another asset, another income stream that you may be looking for. So things that you might want to be able to consider. Think about that freedom fund. You want to set up a free online banking account and you can have an automatic transfer. You can have money, like I said, hit your account right from your paycheck that goes direct deposit into that account. Okay. That was actually something now this I got to say is going to require a little bit of trust, but I actually did this many years ago when I was working my way out of debt. I had debt. I needed to get my credit score up. I needed to get rid of some of my credit card bills, but I wanted to at least start putting some things in savings. So I had my direct deposit, help take care of my bills and things of that nature that needed to be paid. But I also had money go to a new online account that I had set up. But when that money went there, I gave my then fiance, maybe husband, I don't think we were married. I think we were still engaged at that point. But I gave my husband the password and username for that account, and I had him change it. Why did I do that? I had him do that so I could not spend that money. So I could not then say, hey, that down payment money that I want to buy that first home with, well, you know what? I'm going to go shopping with it this weekend. I was able to do that, right? Now, like I said, that takes a lot of trust. You got to know your partner. And by the way, that was definitely when we were still boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't even think we were engaged then because it was to buy that first house. I did that. That was my savings fund. He had the money. He had money for a down payment. I did not. I needed to find a way to be able to save money. So that's what I did. I opened that account and I let him have that password. So I needed to like communicate with him if there was a reason I needed that emergency money. But then I knew I wasn't touching it. And also, I didn't know how much was in it. I will never forget, we met a financial advisor. And that was the first time when he was asking us for like those savings. And he asked me how much I had in savings ready for that down payment. And I didn't know the answer to that. And it was so cool. My husband told me, and I will never forget the number, $23,500 was in my down payment savings bucket that I had no idea. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that I was sacrificing because I didn't even know about that money. But I had $23,000 saved in that account, and I was still living a fantastic life. So that might be something you want to consider. Otherwise, another tip that you might be able to do is to start thinking about what is that next milestone that you are looking for that's going to bring in that income. Okay. When we can start to picture that house hack that we're going to do, that next rental property that we're going to do, that next short-term rental that we're going to have all nice decorated that we're going to be able to have on Airbnb, whatever that's going to look like, when we can have that in our mind, being able to focus on what that looks like, that is going to make us feel a lot better as well. And that's going to be able to give us that evaluation process of, do I want this short-term gratification or that long-term wealth? Being able to have that picture of it is going to help. I'm a huge fan of visualization. Put a little vision board together. Put a picture up on your mirror. Put a picture up on your screensaver. Whatever it may be able to look at that. So that way you are making decisions based on what your goals really want. And have the people around you be doing the same thing. You might want to plug into some more of the Lady Landlord community events that are coming up this year to really be around other women that are saying, hey, this is important to me. We need to work on our financial literacy. And I encourage you 100% to have a budget, track your net worth, look at those things. I get it. I was in horrible debt for years, especially after I moved back to the States from Europe. When I came back, I had nothing. I didn't want to open my credit cards. I didn't want to look at checking statements. I have no idea what my credit score was then because I know it was horrible. And it's really difficult to be able to go back, look at those things. But that's the only way you are going to be able to move forward. That's the only way that you're going to be able to shift your identity from, hey, I'm the person that's a coupon clipper that can buy things on sale, that really knows how to scrimp and save, to saying, hey, I'm somebody that knows how to build assets. I'm somebody that knows how to grow. I am somebody that knows how to invest, because that part is what is going to get you towards that financial freedom. So my recommendation today, sit down, open that credit card bill that you're not looking for, be able to pull up a budget tracker. You can find so many of those for free online, and it's also offered through so many of your different banks. But start thinking about each purchase and decide where it is that you want to put your money. Every single dollar you spend has a big value to it. Is that something that you want to use in just today? Or is that something that you want to use to set up your future? Thank you very much for joining me for today's episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. Please do make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next episode. We release new episodes every single Tuesday. Also, if you have an extra minute, please go and leave us a 5-star review for this podcast. This is how other women are able to find us and realize that they are not alone in also reaching their real estate related goals. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Lady Landlords podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlord.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.